The gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Cleaver, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your April letter, which I interpret to be a gentle reminder to Congress that we needed to raise the debt ceiling. And I appreciate the fact that you clearly understand and recognize the importance of this. I mean, we've raised the debt ceiling 78 separate times since 1968, and both parties, 49 times under Republicans and 29 times under Democrats. It is something we have to do. My first question is, do you think that the mere suggestion that we're not going to deal with the debt ceiling create a problem for us economically? I mean, one of your responsibilities is maintain some level of order in the markets. So what do you think, just a mere suggestion, just a mere threat, what does that do?
It puts a dose of uncertainty into markets, but it becomes particularly problematic the closer one might get to whatever deadline that is. And that's not our jurisdiction, that's others. But, and then if we were to go over said X date, it would really undermine, it would be one heck of a mess in capital markets, that's for sure, but it would undermine the base of our capital markets, U.S. Treasuries, or the risk-free part of our capital markets, that everything else is built on top of that.
I was here in 2011 when there was a stalemate. We're not going to do anything, and so we ended up, of course, averting the cataclysm, but we still did damage to the economy because the gamesmanship caused us not to address this very serious problem. I guess we have failed once, at least, maybe more. You may have been to address our obligations. 1812, we didn't have the resources for a period of time, but since then we've met our obligations. And I'm really maybe obsessed with what could happen if we don't, and it's troublesome to me. I don't think you're probably old enough to remember a movie that came out in 1974 called Blazing Saddles. It's one of my favorite movies. Should have won the Academy Award. But you may remember the scene. Gene Wilder's just brilliant, but Cleaver Little played the role of a guy named Bart. And at one point in the movie, he is surrounded by people who are ready to lynch him. He takes out his gun and puts it to his own head. And he said, "Get back or I'll shoot." You're probably hesitant to want to say this. Isn't that what Congress is doing right now with the debt ceiling?
Well, being old enough to have seen the movie, I think I learned enough to say it's between Congress and other parts of the administration, the Treasury Department, the White House. I can just speak to the capital markets piece. On the capital markets piece, we've already seen some small bits. There's certain money market funds and other funds that are being careful about which short-term Treasury bills they buy. But if we were to get close to that X date, your proverbial visual that you just did from the movie from 1974, it is likely that we would start to see fraying, less liquidity in the Treasury markets, which ultimately means higher costs to the taxpayers coming into that. And then, if we were to go over that default cliff, it would be, of course, unprecedented, but it'd be one heck of a mess in capital markets. It would hurt the equity markets. It would hurt the the rest of the fixed income markets, and it would ripple into the banking system as well, not to mention all the money market funds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back, ma'am.